Welcome back to the Tom Sense Show. I am Tom Sense, and this is the hour where we cut through the spin and deliver the raw, unvarnished truth. We've got a massive lineup for you this hour, from the latest collapse of diplomacy with Iran to a major courtroom battle over our kids and the radical left trying to tear down the United States Constitution. But before we dive in, a quick reminder to everyone watching on the air right now. You can put a question to me at any point during this broadcast in the chat on YouTube or over on X. If you have a serious question that is actually worth answering, I will address it right here in the middle of the news. We leave the noise behind and stick to what matters. Now, let us get right into the stories that are shaping our world today. We start this hour with a massive national security failure that surprises absolutely nobody who has been paying attention. On Monday, August 17th, 2026, the 60-day ceasefire window established under the Pakistan-brokered Islamabad Memorandum of Understanding officially expired. Under this June agreement, the United States and Iran had a temporary truce, but negotiators failed to reach any permanent deal. The two sides remain deeply divided over control of the strategic Strait of Hormuz and Iran's nuclear development program. A senior Iranian official confirmed that no talks to extend the deal are happening, and they are already blaming the United States. But here is the real kicker. A new intelligence report published in the Wall Street Journal reveals that Tehran spent the entire 60 days ramping up drone and missile production. They did not want peace. They wanted a head start. While mediators in Qatar and Pakistan keep sending messages, experts are warning we could see a swift return to intense fighting. It is the same old story. If you give a terrorist regime 60 days to talk, they do not write a peace treaty. They build 60 days' worth of weapons to use against you. The previous administration understood that the only language these tyrants respect is absolute strength. Instead, we got 60 days of empty promises while our adversaries literally reloaded their weapons. Now we are right back where we started, facing an even more heavily armed Iran, because some bureaucrats thought they could negotiate with a regime that chants death to America. A massive legal showdown begins in Oakland, California, on Tuesday, August 18th, 2026. A bipartisan coalition of 29 state attorneys general is taking Meta Platforms to federal court, holding the company accountable for fueling a youth mental health crisis. The states accuse Meta of deliberately designing addictive features like infinite scrolling, constant push notifications, and algorithm-based feeds specifically to hook children and teenagers. The plaintiffs are demanding massive product overhauls, including removing like counts, and they are seeking up to $1.4 trillion in financial damages. On top of that, the lawsuit alleges Meta illegally harvested personal data from kids under 13 years old, violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. Meta vehemently denies this, claiming there is no proof of real-world harm, but Chief Executive Officer Mark Zuckerberg and Instagram head Adam Mosseri are expected to testify. Let us state the plain thing that every parent watching this show already knows. These big tech giants spent years building digital casinos for children, and now they want to act surprised that kids are getting hurt. You do not need a trillion-dollar lawsuit to see that when you give a teenager a device designed by the smartest engineers in the world to keep them staring at a screen for 10 hours a day, it ruins their development. It is about time these companies face the music for what they have done to our families. We turn now to a devastating situation overseas where thousands of lives are in limbo. A powerful 5.9 magnitude aftershock hit the Flores region of eastern Indonesia early on Monday, August 17th, 2026. This has brought new panic and massive complications to rescue teams who were already struggling after Saturday's massive 7.7 magnitude earthquake. The initial disaster killed at least 54 people, injured nearly 200, and forced almost 10,000 residents to flee their homes in East Nusa Tenggara province. Landslides have blocked critical roads, including the 700-kilometer Trans-Flores Highway, making it incredibly difficult for rescue workers to reach isolated villages. Local emergency officials have declared a 14-day state of emergency, reporting severe shortages of food, clean drinking water, and medical supplies. There have been more than 1,500 aftershocks recorded since the weekend, and thousands of survivors are sleeping outside in the dirt because they are terrified their damaged homes will collapse on top of them. Our thoughts and prayers are with the families who are suffering through this terrible disaster. The scale of the destruction is immense, and the search and rescue teams are doing everything they can under incredibly dangerous conditions. We will keep you updated as more information comes in from the region. We have a major victory for national security and the rule of law at our southern border. Senior United States District Judge Richard Leon has denied a request from the Tohono O'odham Nation to halt the construction of 62 miles of border wall across its reservation in southern Arizona. The tribe tried to get an injunction, claiming the construction was unlawful, trespassing, and that it shrunk their borders. But in an 18-page opinion issued in Washington, D.C., Judge Leon ruled that a 1907 proclamation by President Theodore Roosevelt reserved a 60-foot strip along the border for public use. This gives the federal government the full authority to build the wall without the tribe's consent, with the judge declaring that national security interests outweigh the tribe's concerns. Tribal leaders are furious, warning that the double-walled project will destroy sacred sites and desert ecosystems. But let us be completely honest here. If we do not have secure borders, we do not have a sovereign country, and national security must always come first. The federal government has a constitutional duty to protect this nation, and that duty does not stop because of local opposition. The United States Food and Drug Administration has just upgraded a massive voluntary egg recall to a Class 1 designation, which is the most severe hazard level. This classification means there is a reasonable probability that eating these eggs could cause serious illness or death. The recall, which started in late July by Indiana-based Midwest Poultry Services, covers nearly 1.6 million dozen eggs. That is about 19 million individual white and brown cage-free eggs produced at Texas farms between June 6th and July 3rd, 2026. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, these contaminated eggs have already sickened at least 98 people across 17 states, leading to 26 hospitalizations, with most of the cases happening in Texas. The eggs were sold under popular brand names including Kroger, Simple Truth, and Country Morning, with sell-by dates running through August 17th. If you have any of these eggs in your refrigerator, check the labels immediately and throw them out. This is a very serious health risk, and 26 people have already ended up in the hospital. We expect our food supply chain to be safe, and when 19 million eggs are contaminated with something this dangerous, it points to a massive failure in quality control. Be careful out there, protect your families, and make sure you are checking those cartons before you cook breakfast tomorrow morning. Finally, let us look at the absolute madness taking over the modern left. The Democratic Socialists of America are celebrating what they call their sexy socialist summer after winning several high-profile primaries, including Abdul El-Sayed winning the United States Senate primary in Michigan. But their newly published platform, titled Workers Deserve More, has exposed their true colors, and it is causing a massive backlash. Their platform calls for writing a completely new United States Constitution, abolishing the Senate, replacing the presidency and the Supreme Court with leaders chosen by Congress, and letting all permanent residents vote. House Speaker Mike Johnson soundly condemned this agenda, warning that communism is on our shores and that this group is gaining massive support among younger voters. Let us apply their own logic right back to them. If these socialists think our system is so fundamentally broken that we need to rip up the Constitution and throw away the presidency, then they should have no problem with us putting up a giant departures board at the airport and handing out free tissues to anyone who wants to leave. They enjoy all the freedom and wealth created by the greatest capitalist nation in human history, yet they want to turn us into Venezuela. It is time for patriotic Americans to stand up, reject this radical nonsense, and defend the Constitution that has kept this nation free for 250 years. That is all the time we have for this hour. Keep your head up, stand strong for your family, and never apologize for putting America first. I am Tom Sense, and this is The Tom Sense Show. Good night.